Hi, welcome. Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist. Thank you for joining me today. Yay! Wow, we are doing a goodie here. We are going to go through a real great one, and it's why you're struggling to make decisions, and obviously giving you strategies around how to make decisions. So, thank you for joining me. I would love to know if you were here live or if you are here on a replay or where you are in the world. Some I already know where you are in the world, but others I'm like, wonder where they are in the world, and I'll have to do some stalking. So that's me to start with. So Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist. Let me talk about why you're struggling to make decisions. Oh my God, when my team came up with this idea, I was like, yuck, 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 yuck. Decisions can be curse and a blessing at the same time, but you can actually, it's yucky. And when you feel the pressure of everyone wanting your attention and answers, you can literally feel like you're about ready to explode. You can think about it and you go, oh, why me? Why do they want me? What if I get it wrong? And all this chaos just comes into your brain. Well, they blame me, and massive fear can come up for you when you have to make a decision. And even the simplest decisions can be mind explosive depending on the situation you are in and your emotional well-being at that time. So when things come up, there's some great stuff called stories that come into your mind, like little Pac-Man that come in from the past. So just be aware of those, because they're really goodies that you can work on. Hi Mila. Yay, Miss Australia. Thanks for joining. So be aware of those stories that can come up, because they are really goodies to work on. And one of the things I do is celebrate when I have an icky situation, because I'm like, oh, there's an emotional charge going on with me. I'm going to be able to work on that. Now, you may not really want to work on it, but there's actually something to work on. And so just be aware of those. And that can happen with stories of your past experiences or something that you've seen or heard in someone else or also yourself. And even the stuff you watch on TV can trigger some serious stories from the past for you. So watch those stories. They're real goodies to work with. So let's crack on. Why you're struggling to make decisions. So let's get into the why first, because why is why? Why me? What is it? Why? So you can have chaos in the brain. These are the reasons why you're struggling to make decisions. So you can have chaos in the brain. Everyone can have chaos in the brain. And I call it, another one of that is mind chatter, which is like the Pac-Man that comes in and just chews away at you, and you can feel a little bit frazzled. So there's the mind chatter, there's the chaos of the brain. There's also that when your intuition, let's put that heat pump down, your intuition isn't saying do it. So there's an icky feeling inside of you that's going on, and you're just like, oh, I don't know if this actually feels right. There's this icky feeling going on. So think about that your intuition isn't going on in here saying it feels right. When you can see there's more downsides than upsides to doing it. So say, for example, you were going to go on a blind date, and you're like, oh, I can see all these downsides to going on this blind date. Oh, no, there's too much. My past stuff's coming in, stories, fears. Oh, no, that person said something to me. Oh, they said something back then. I don't really like the restaurant they're taking me to. All these downsides come in, and all these excuses that come up. You know the ones I'm talking about, all this blah, 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 blah. Downsides than upsides, instead of going, wow, they're taking me to this restaurant. Gosh, last time I went there, I didn't have a great experience. Let's see how it goes better this time. So you're seeing more downsides than upsides. The other one why you're struggling to make decisions is also other people's opinions. Now, I know I talked about the Pac-Man coming in, but it's also other people's opinions of what works and what doesn't in your world. So be aware of that, because other people have a large influence in us. So be aware of other people's Pac-Man's chomping in. And the other one I was thinking about with why you're struggling to make decisions is your fears. Now, I talked about your stories, but you've also got your fears that come up. So be conscious of those fears that are coming up, because they are your stories from the past, like I talked about. There's those stories and those fears that come up, and you're going, oh, that feels not too great, etc., etc., etc. And it is an etc., etc., etc. So be aware of what they are. when I talk about why you're struggling to make the decisions, they are all those ones I've just given you are all goodies to work on. Chaos in the brain, the mind chatter, your intuition, more downsides, all the things I just gave you are great little goodies that will be wise for you to work on resolving, because that will help you propel you forward. So that's pretty much the reasons why you're struggling to make decisions. I meant to say, get pen and paper, because otherwise I'm going to talk too fast and you're going to forget all this stuff. So that's why you're struggling to make decisions. Let's look at what you need in your world to make a good decision. So what do you need in your world around you to make a good decision? What do you think it is? Bang them in the comments if you think you know exactly what it is. I'm clearly going to give it to you, my opinion. So what is it that you need to make a good decision? One of the things I say is a calm and centered space. And when I say space, not just space around you, but space in your head, a calm and centered, maybe state would be better. A calm and centered state to make that decision. Poised and present. And I love this, because when you're poised and present, doesn't that just sound beautiful? And I'm a big hands on heart person. So even just pausing, hand on heart, being poised and present with whoever you're with or yourself, and making that decision. Anything, what you need to make a good decision is anything when it feels like it's at ease. When you're actually at ease and things are working, you can make decisions like that because it feels like it's in flow. One of the other things is what you need to make a good decision is not being desperate. Desperation is a downhill slide. Desperation is a yucky situation to be in. Desperation just makes you spin and spin and spin around, and you can go yourself into complete chaos. So you can't be desperate. You just can't be desperate. So to make a good decision is you cannot have desperation anywhere near you. Absolutely. Then the other one was what you need to make a good decision is the right people around you. The right people around you. Who are those people who are there going to lift you up, pick you up, keep you going along, show you what's working, show you what's not, are going to be honest, transparent, any of those things. They're the right people around you. You definitely don't want people going, that's amazing, that's amazing, that's amazing, and they're rubbish. You know, I watch those, what are those shows, those music shows? My family told me I was a great singer, and I watched them. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know I can't sing very well. I still sing, but those people are like, my family told me I was amazing, and I'm like, that's not really great. That's not really great. So be aware of those ones who tell you that you're amazing and it's not really great, and then you go on national TV and you start singing. You know who you are. So be aware of those people. You want those people around you who lift you up, definitely, but are also honest and transparent, saying, you know what, I don't know if music's really your career, but let's find you an amazing tutor who can help bring you up. Let's find a mentor. Let's find a skillful person who can actually give you the honest feedback that's required, and see if we can lift you up or you're going to flag it. Mila's just said, know what you want and what your values are. Absolutely. Know what your desire is and what's important to you. So know what you want, what your desire is, absolutely, and what your values are. Is another way of what your values are is what's important to you. So if you don't know those things, then we've got a little glitch anyway. But those things can change when we have major moments that are going around us. So thanks, Mila, for that feedback. That's great. So the other thing is, when we go what you need to make good decisions, and we think about that, hand on the heart, making a decision, does this feel good or not? The other thing is what makes a good decision good? So what makes a good decision good? And which is similar to what I've just talked about, but we're now actually going to say it's when you're in flow. You know, when you're at flow, and I talk about ease and grace quite a bit, when things are at ease and grace and it just flows, things work, there's none of this trying to push a wet noodle. Have you ever tried to push a wet noodle? Man, that's so hard. That's like wobbly, wobbly, wobbly. So when things are in flow, and you're at ease and grace, and you just know, and everything feels like, wow, and life is on the way, not obstacles being in the way. That's when you know it's a good decision. When you feel it in your heart, and I talk about my hand on my heart, so when you feel it in your heart, not in your head, because your head can tell you, yes, this is a great decision, and then the next day you're like, no, it's not, da-da-da-da. But your heart, when you feel it in your heart, you know. And when I think about this, I think about when you know, you know. And we talk about love at first sight. People talk about love at first sight, and they say, when you know, you know. And people are like, I've never had that. I've never had that. But when you know, and you meet someone, you go, oh, and it feels like you're one, you know. So you know what I'm talking about there. Now, it doesn't mean you haven't experienced it with love at first sight. That could happen with a child, a car, a house, a dress, a lipstick. Love at first sight, my favorite lipstick. Any of these things, that's when you can get that love at first sight. When you know, you know. When you know, you know. So now my last little bit I'm going to talk about is actually a little quirky little one, is how to make a good decision. So I talked about what makes a good decision good, but how to make a good decision. So you definitely need your pen and paper for this one. So the key is how to make a good decision. Drop the good word. Drop the good word. And you're just going to say how to make a decision. How to make a decision instead of labeling it good or bad. Because the moment you're labeling it good or bad, you've already put on this assumption that it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. So what happens if you just drop that word good? What happens if you just drop that word good? So make it how to make a decision. Just that alone, dropping this word good, takes incredible pressure off your mind and body going, I'm just making a decision. I'm not making a good decision and I'm not making a bad decision. I'm just making a decision. So drop the word good and how to make a decision. It's wise to look at, does it work for you? Clearly, absolutely. You want to make sure it works for you, because if it doesn't work for you, it's not a wise decision. It's not a good decision. It's not a bad decision. It's just a decision. But if it doesn't work for you, it's not one that's going to be in alignment with you. So does it work for you? Does it work for others? Does it work for others? Now, although ultimately this is your decision. This is your decision. Don't jump on their crazy freight train that they're doing. So does it work for others? It's still your decision, but does it work for the family? Does it work for your intimate partner? Does it work for your work colleagues? Does it work for all those people that you're connected with at a heart level? Does it work for them as well? Remembering it's still your decision. The other thing is, when you've made that decision, how to make that decision, you do it and then you let it go. And that is not wondering the what if this happens, and what if this happens, and what if I ever took the other option, and what if I had a different person in my family, and what if I had this, and what if I hadn't have taken that job, and what if I hadn't have bought this money, and what if will give you wrinkles and drain you and age you and put you further down the pecking order of life vitalities. So explaining that is like being let's just say a hamster on a wheel, and you know what those hamsters are like, and you're just going blah, 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 blah. What happens when the hamster stops? He falls off. He goes on his back and he does the old dead end. Actually, dead end, that used to be a dance. I think I'm probably showing my age about that. Did you ever do those dances? I get diverted quite a bit. Anyway, so going back to the dead end. So when you're a hamster on the wheel, you can just fall off and fall. So do it, forget the what if, and make the decision. But, and I say but quite big in this one, you must be flexible. So if you want to change that decision, if you said yes and now you're saying no, if you said yes and now you're saying no, change it. No biggie, is it? You're just changing the decision. And yes, you might upset people, and yes, you've had this decision going for 2 or 3 days and then suddenly you're changing it. Is it really an issue? That is their stories to deal with, and them to deal with theirs alone, and you've got your own stuff. So be aware of that. Be aware of those stories and those fears that are coming in. So when you make the decision, and go ahead with it. But if things aren't in alignment, then change it. It's totally okay. It is your decision and your world to change your own decisions in everything. Everything. So that is Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist, about why you're struggling to make decisions, what you need to do, what makes a good decision, and how to make a good decision. If there's anything in here you'd like to add, bang them in the comments. I would love to read them, and I'm sure so would other people. Thank you for joining me. And Benji, who ditched us in New Zealand to go to Australia, I'm thoroughly enjoying seeing all your little antics on Australia and seeing you traveling. So thank you for saying I look fab. I'm sure you got some content out of here as well, making decisions, because he made the decision to move countries. Just like that. Done. And I'm sure there was some mind chatter going on with that. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for your input on struggling to make decisions and decisions. Thanks, Kelly, for joining us as well. Thank you, everyone. This is Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist, signing off. If you need me, jump on a call and I can help you through any decision that's going on in your mind. Thanks, everyone. Bye.